If you were given the opportunity to sit with a group of brand new actors, let's suppose it's a round table, and they asked your advice on casting directors, what would you tell them? And this is the Steve Tom Show. This is your forum.
Wow.
And people are hanging on your every word.
In what sense? In what?
Well, let's suppose you've been asked to come to a college or something and lecture, and they want to know everything there is to know about casting directors. What should you say? How should you approach it? Should you bring them flowers? Beer?
Oh, okay. All that stuff. First of all, ditch the perfume and the cologne. Luckily, years ago that happened, and because casting directors were complaining because people were bathing in perfume and cologne and coming into the room, and after a bunch of people paraded in and out, it was just overwhelming, and a lot of people have allergies to that. So that's the first thing. Don't just take a shower with soap, and don't put anything on after that. It's much nicer for everybody involved. What else? Sending a gift to a casting director after you've booked something. Oh, wow, I generally don't do that. I'll pick up the phone or drop by the office if that's an office where I can do that and we have that kind of relationship, and thank them and let them know how grateful I am for the opportunity that they gave me by casting me in this project, and it was wonderful, and I had the time of my life. I'll do that. I have given gifts to casting directors, just because in my mind the opportunity that I had because of them was so monumental and career changing that I think it just deserved more than a cordial thank you. But their job is to shine for the production company. They want to bring in the best actors they possibly can. And when they've done that and everything goes smoothly and the director and the crew and the production company and the studio are so happy with the way things turned out on the shoot, that's a great reward for a casting office, for everybody in the casting office. And everybody does their job, and I don't think we all have to constantly thank one another for it. And I think that sort of falls into the area of trying too hard. Again, they know who you are. They bring you in because they know who you are and they want to see you. You don't have to thank them for it. That's their job. And I don't mean to say that casting should be thankless. There's a great documentary that was released a couple of months ago called "Casting By." Did you happen to see it? Yeah, it's wonderful. That focused on a particular casting director and her efforts to have that part of the film process or the television process recognized by the awards shows. Anyway, I'm kind of going a little far afield there. It's a wonderful documentary. If you ever have a chance to see Casting By, don't miss it. It's wonderful. It'll give you a whole new perspective on that particular part of the industry. What else? Do's and don'ts for casting directors. That's kind of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Etiquette when you walk in the room. How conversational should you be?
Okay, this is my personal etiquette. I don't reach out and shake hands with. I don't touch anybody unless they offer first. People are petri dishes, and I don't really want to touch them, and I don't think they want to touch me. But if somebody extends their hand to me, certainly I'll extend mine back. Props. Don't bring props into an audition. It's sort of desperate, and you don't need them. Everybody has an imagination, and they can use them, and you don't need to do that. Don't ever touch a casting director as part of a scene. If you're supposed to be strangling someone, they're not the person you want to actually put your hands around their neck. Don't do that. Feedback. Do you want to harangue your agent about feedback? Can you call the casting office and please get feedback? Please, I want to hear feedback on my audition. How did I do? How did I do? The feedback is whether or not you book the job. And that is not necessarily negative feedback. The thing that the most valuable thing that ever happened to me in this business was being able to sit in on a casting session on their side of the room to see what happened. It was actually a commercial casting session for a client that I have now, an ongoing client that I have now. 99.9% of the time, the decision not to hire an actor has nothing to do with the actor. Nothing, particularly in commercials. It has to do with issues of diversity. It has to do with height or color of hair, mixing and matching different actors to achieve the goal of the client that must be served. I mean, those things must be served before anything else. These decisions don't have anything to do with the actor necessarily. Most of the time, they don't have anything to do with it, and should never be taken personally, ever. It's hard to understand that unless you do get that opportunity to sit in on a casting session on the casting director side and to hear the conversations after the actors have left the room, to hear what they actually talk about. It's not them, it's not me, it's something else. So, just go in the room and bring it. Just bring it. Bring your A game. And leave quickly. Leave quickly.
Why?
I would much rather. There have been times when I've stayed in the room a little bit too long and been a little too chatty, and I thought, well, the longer I stay in here, the more they're going to get to know who the real me is, and they're not going to be able to resist me. And no, I would much rather have them want me to come back in the room. I want to leave them wanting a little bit more. So I go in, I do my work, I say thank you, and I leave quickly. And I close the door behind me. And if they want me to come back before I'm in the car, they'll come and get me. That actually happened once. I was auditioning for a crime drama set in New York. I won't tell you which one. And it was the audition was like 2 or 3 days after 9/11. And I walked in the room and I was introduced, and somebody said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Well, I picked a hell of a time to quit smoking." And you could have heard a pin drop. Just crickets. And somebody, I don't know who it was, but one of the producers or somebody in the room, this was a producer session, somebody said, "Who the hell do you think you are? Don't you know what happened 2 days ago?" And I looked up and I said, "Hold it, who said that? Which one of you said that?" And nobody would admit to it. I said, "You know what? Screw you all." Because everybody is dealing with this horrific thing in the best way they knew how. And I chose to put a light touch on it when I came in the room here. And how dare you get on your high horse and tell anybody else how they should feel about this? Have a great shoot. Screw you. I didn't say screw you, but I walked out the door. I said F you, and I walked out the door. Walked out the door. Didn't read. I was furious. And before I got to my car, somebody came running after me and told me to come back. And I went back in the room, and they said, "You know what? That's kind of what we're looking for in this character, and we'd like to offer you the job." That's what happened. I don't recommend that as a rule. In fact, I don't recommend it at all. But it was just one of those things that happened to work at the time, and